Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Belfast and to the Weavers Cross Market Developer Day. Today provides a unique chance to hear more about the development opportunities which are available as part of one of the most exciting public transport-led regeneration projects Northern Ireland has ever seen. Integrated into the fast-developing Belfast transport hub, Weavers Cross is a major mixed-use scheme totalling 1.3 million square feet of space and with an estimated gross development value in the region of £400 million. The scheme will sit at the heart of Belfast city centre and will be the gateway to Europe and beyond, sitting atop the vibrant Belfast-Dublin corridor, which is home to 3 million people. As a development opportunity, there can be few better to have emerged on these shores in the past number of years. Certainly none as exciting and none which will be as transformative to Belfast, to Northern Ireland and to the island. To make the current plans a reality, TransLink needs a partner with the same enthusiasm, commitment and drive who will be able to put their stamp on the project and who will become an integral part of its team. Today provides the opportunity to learn more about all aspects of Weavers Cross and how it contributes to the economic, social and environmental future. We're going to hear from representatives from TransLink, from government and from the architects behind the project and from real estate consultant CBRE, so we can really understand the ethos behind this scheme and the finer details of the procurement and construction process. The format will take the form of a series of presentations and interviews and finishing with a Q&A at the end. If you have any questions as we go along, please drop an email to robert.diddy@cbre.com and we'll do our best to answer them. But without further ado, we're going to kick off with our series of presentations with a short video which will help set the scene around the Belfast Transport Hub and Weavers Cross.
Weavers Cross is about dynamic connectivity, connecting people with an exciting new place, connecting industrial heritage with innovation, connecting technology with environment, connecting Northern Ireland's economic vitality with the world, and connecting developers with a truly unequalled investment opportunity. A 20-acre site right in the thriving heart of Belfast, Weavers Cross will become a high-quality and imaginative mixed-use development, representing an exciting step change in terms of inclusiveness and outcomes for large mixed-use development schemes. As well as scale and location, what makes Weavers Cross an outstanding investment opportunity is Northern Ireland's busiest multimodal transport hub, situated right at its centre.
Weavers Cross is a transport-led regeneration project with the opportunity to develop over 1.3 million square feet of office-led mixed-use space right in the heart of Belfast. At its centre is the Belfast Transport Hub, a high-quality multimodal transport hub providing bus and rail connections right across Northern Ireland and across the island of Ireland, providing connections to all major airports. This will have the capacity for over 20 million passenger journeys per year.
As a city with an impressive track record for inward investment, there is currently a shortage of Grade A office space in Belfast. Within Weavers Cross, we have plans for over 100,000 square metres of prime location, flexible space, surrounded by vital transport links and inspiring public realm space. The connected location, the quality of buildings, and the drive for innovation and sustainability will inspire those who work and live there.
So Belfast, like every other city, has been affected by COVID, but I believe we have the right fundamentals here, the right level of momentum in terms of job creation and a growing economy to really bounce back quickly after this global pandemic. And I believe that the new transport hub at Weavers Cross is a very important part of our future. We have created a 20-year strategy within Belfast City Council to really boost the economy, make sure we create more and better jobs, and also ensure that we have the right infrastructure and assets to create a really modern Belfast. And of course, Weavers Cross sits right at the heart of that strategy. So I look forward to working with TransLink and with the private sector and development partners that will come in alongside TransLink to bring forward Weavers Cross and really create a modern Belfast.
Weavers Cross is gathering momentum, We have support from Belfast City Council and the Strategic Investment Board and the Northern Ireland Executive, as well as our neighbouring communities who've inspired us with their ambition.
Major transport connections are essential for economic growth, social cohesion and tackling the climate crisis. I'm pleased at the progress to date on the Belfast Transport Hub and believe that this will act as a catalyst for the wider redevelopment of Weavers Cross. This is a hugely important executive project that will help us deliver on our ambitions for our programme for government while maximising connectivity across our island. I have no doubt that Weavers Cross will help to deliver economic growth and prosperity for Belfast and Northern Ireland and for the benefit of everyone.
We want Weavers Cross to be more than a place to live, work and commute. We want to create a vibrant, authentic city neighbourhood that brings to life the story of the area's past, regenerates its present and reimagines its future for the benefit of the whole community. With the Transport Hub at its heart, Weavers Cross will transform the lives of local communities, city citizens and visitors alike, providing commercial returns and generating positive social and environmental impacts.
We believe that Weavers Cross is a unique development opportunity to provide regeneration and development of a key strategic site in Belfast, and also will be at the forefront of Northern Ireland building back responsibly post-COVID-19.
By working with the right developers, we will achieve something special at Weavers Cross, something that will be of high value to investors and to the people of Belfast. We invite you to join us. The journey starts here.
So now we've hopefully whetted your appetite for Weavers Cross. It's time to hear from one of the key masterminds behind the project. That's Chris Conway, who you saw there, who's Chief Executive of TransLink.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to just give a warm welcome to everyone attending today in these very unique circumstances that we find ourselves in. We've had considerable interest from all across the development spectrum, locally, nationally and internationally, and today is about giving you a bit more background on this fantastic opportunity, who we are, what we're looking for, and getting some valuable feedback from yourselves. So you might ask, why are we doing this now? Well, Weavers Cross is a long-term project starting on site around 2024, and TransLink is very optimistic about the long-term future and this scheme's long-term contribution to building back the Northern Ireland economy. Our ongoing investment in our bus and rail fleet and passenger facilities demonstrates our commitment to long-term growth, and this is further enhanced by the recent North-South Ministerial Council to consider high-speed rail links throughout the island. And similarly, with Weavers Cross, we are confident about the demand for quality development space around the Transport Hub, which is now on site. Now, unfortunately, we can only show you pictures and videos today, but we hope you get the opportunity in the future to safely walk around the site and see the works that are underway. So I believe this is the right time to run a procurement exercise, get the right partner on board to be ready to shape and influence this unique opportunity for Weavers Cross as the market starts to recover from COVID-19. Weavers Cross is fundamentally a transport-led regeneration project with a unique opportunity to develop over 1.3 million square feet of office-led mixed-use space right in the heart of Belfast. And the Transport Hub at the heart of Weavers Cross will provide connectivity across bus, rail and cycling across the island and create capacity for growth, and will be a gateway for the arrival and departure for millions of commuters, business travellers, tourists and other visitors. Transport hubs are proven to have a transformational impact on investment in cities. Here we show 3 examples at King's Cross, Sheffield and Manchester Piccadilly, which all show something of what we expect to happen at Weavers Cross. And indeed, we have the design team from King's Cross to help us make this happen, and Fanis from John McCaslin's and Partners will say something more about that later. We have seen how these stations have released high-quality development opportunities and placemaking around the stations to support and encourage economic growth. And we are looking for Weavers Cross to become a destination and a high-quality and culturally vibrant place that can play a role in driving economic growth. And with the commencement of the Belfast Transport Hub, one of the largest construction projects in Northern Ireland, we are already starting to see these effects with increasing development and economic activity around the station and on the station approaches. We will hear later from Minister Graham Stewart from DIT on the importance of the scheme to the UK economy, and the Department for Infrastructure Minister on the support for Weavers Cross from the Northern Ireland Executive. You see from this slide that Weavers Cross sits very close to the city centre, and you can see how it sits in the heart of Belfast, just a short walk to the City Hall, alongside the main office district, and how Weavers Cross will stitch all of this together, and we will talk more about this later. Weavers Cross is also sitting directly between the two main universities and the two main hospitals, and is also surrounded by hotels and leisure and tourist attractions. At the heart of this unique development opportunity will be the multimodal transport hub, integrating bus, rail and cycling across Belfast and Northern Ireland and across the island of Ireland. And the new station can accommodate up to 20 million passenger journeys, so there will always be people and activity bustling around this area. A significant increase in scale to accommodate the long-term growth in public transport and active travel will take place. And Fanis will go into a little more detail about the station design, but we're looking for this to be a quality environment, and we're looking for this to be replicated out into the wider development. A key feature of the new station is also the direct bus and rail connections across Northern Ireland and also to Dublin and the UK's only land border with the EU. Direct connections to all major airports are provided, providing an international gateway supporting the tourism sector. And this is further enhanced by the recent North-South Ministerial Council to consider high-speed rail links throughout the island. Weavers Cross will be a catalyst for sustainable development across Belfast, providing opportunities to connect with public transport such as glider, metro and GO line, and also active travel, positively impacting on the climate emergency and air quality. Considerable cycle and pedestrian linkages will be created throughout the city, supporting health and well-being with an active travel hub located at the station. And TransLink is also working with key stakeholders across the city related to connectivity, including Streets Ahead 5, a public realm scheme by the Department for Communities, Relink Belfast, Forth Meadow Community Greenway, the Boulder Vision Belfast, and the work of urban villages. All of these will bring significant public realm schemes to the area. It's important to note also that significant new public realm space and streetscape will be delivered as part of the Transport Hub construction itself, which is already underway, and this will connect people to this new destination at the heart of Belfast. Social value and community are a key part of the journey we've been on, and we've been working closely with communities throughout the construction of the Transport Hub itself. We've worked closely on a range of initiatives supported by our partners. We've undertaken volunteering in schools, community groups, social enterprises, and we're building private, statutory and voluntary partnerships for the benefit of local communities, which we want to see maintained through the development phase. We have a full-time community engagement manager employed to manage these activities, and we've already partnered with Belfast City Council in a construction academy that we know Belfast City Council are very keen to keep this partnership going with the appointed developer. And we are looking to explore meanwhile uses and pop-up spaces with the community and the appointed development partner as the development proceeds. And I know some of our partners are here today, and I would just like to thank them for what we've already achieved together. TransLink also has a list of investment priorities which we're working on alongside the hub, and we're delivering a number of these over the years to come to support economic, social and environmental well-being of Northern Ireland. These include decarbonising our fleet with our first new hydrogen buses coming into service next month. We have a fully integrated ticketing system across all modes of public transport starting to be introduced early next year. And following the success of Glider, which is our bus rapid transit system connecting North and South Belfast, we're now connecting East and West Belfast, I should say. We're now commencing phase 2, which will connect North and South. And this week, we've completed the new Northwest Transport Hub, connecting across Derry, Londonderry to the rest of Northern Ireland. And we've new train carriages ordered, which will start arriving next year to expand our train fleet. These projects reflect the level of innovation we are striving for in making Weavers Cross part of our drive to sustainable transport and address the challenges of climate change with a net zero carbon target by 2050. Our current draft master plan provides for significant development space, and our intention is a flexible, quality, mixed-use space being able to accommodate different sectors for commercial, office space, build to rent, and social and leisure that the right development partner will be able to put their stamp on. This is a significant development for Belfast, and Robert Diddy from CBRE will provide an update later on the various sectors and long-term commercial drivers for the development. Translink see this as being one of the most important development opportunities in the city, with a master developer being able to add value as the scheme progresses over the next 5 to 15 years. Adam White from CBRE will speak more on the detail of the contractual arrangements later and on how Translink are looking for a partner to support their vision of this scheme. We've worked very closely with partners right across Northern Ireland, but specifically with Belfast City Council. We supported them at MIPIM over a number of years, and it's good to see some of these contacts with us today. We're encouraged by the positive response from Weavers Cross at the recent Investment at Cities conference at 10 Downing Street, and we're also thankful for the support of InvestNI, who are marketing the opportunities of Weavers Cross worldwide, and we hope that our development partner will build on these good relationships. Weavers Cross fully supports the Belfast City agenda for more people to work and live in the city centre, and is already becoming a new destination at the heart of an ambitious Belfast. Weavers Cross has huge support. It's a Northern Ireland Executive flagship project. It links directly to the draft programme for government, connecting people to opportunity through infrastructure. And we have the support of our surrounding communities and businesses. It's hugely important for the growth in sustainable transport and the impact this will have on climate change and air quality. And Weavers Cross will be an exemplar in this area. Building on the relationships we have, we are looking for an exceptional private sector partner to realise these ambitions. We're also looking for feedback from all the information and presentations that you'll see today, and I would encourage you to fill in the questionnaire, as this will help us to make this a market-facing opportunity. Weavers Cross is a unique opportunity, and the journey starts here. Thank you.
Chris, thanks for that brilliant rundown and for setting the scene so comprehensively. Now, Chris mentioned that the Transport Hub enjoys strong political support. So to demonstrate that, I donned my hard hat and caught up with Infrastructure Minister Nicola Mallon down at the site last week to hear how the project is central to the department's strategy. Hello everyone, as part of the virtual developer market day, we have come down to site to give you an idea of the development opportunities that are available at Weavers Cross. Just behind me is the Transport Hub, which is currently being developed. Just beyond that is where Weavers Cross is going to be. Just beyond that is Belfast City Centre. Joining me today to talk through the opportunities that are here is Infrastructure Minister Nicola Mallon. Minister, why do you believe that this is a significant project for Belfast and for Northern Ireland?
Well, this is a multi-million-pound investment. It is a key executive flagship project. It's critical in terms of our programme for government. And for me, this is about transport-led regeneration. It's about connecting people to opportunities. It's about driving economic growth. And it's also about our green recovery from COVID. So it's a very exciting project and that we're very keen to see advanced.
One of the most exciting aspects of it is that the enterprise line will come directly into here. How important is that?
Well, it's crucially important, and we're working in partnership with the Irish Government to see further high-speed rail connectivity between our key cities across the island. So it's really exciting to have this hub as a key gateway in terms of that all-island connectivity and opportunity.
How does the Transport Hub on Weavers Cross play into the idea that we build back better from COVID-19?
Well, we've all made huge sacrifices from COVID, and we've had a huge learning experience. This is a real opportunity to build back better and to build back more responsibly. It's about tackling the climate emergency. It is about connecting people, and that's why this is a hugely exciting prospect.
There's a lot of work going on here, but there's going to be a really exciting project at the end of it. How have the businesses and communities in the surrounding area accepted the businesses going on here?
Well, we've engaged very closely with the local community and with key stakeholders around the Chamber of Commerce, Belfast City Council, because we're only just a few minutes away from the commercial heartland of our city, and everyone can see the huge potential and the multiple benefits that will be derived from this project.
And I suppose, what would you say to the investment community that are considering putting their money behind this project on Weavers Cross?
Well, this project has cross-party support. It is an executive flagship project. There's huge political support for it. There's local support as well. But this is about driving economic growth. This is about transport-led regeneration with the multiple benefits that that will bring. So I think it's a really exciting opportunity, and it's one that I think can be really advanced in partnership.
Have the surrounding businesses and communities been supportive of the Transport Hub project?
Yes, we have been engaging with local stakeholders, so the local community, but also the local business community through the Chamber of Commerce, for example, and through Belfast City Council. And it's great to see the enthusiasm for it because everyone can see the multiple benefits that will be derived.
What would you say to the investor and developer community about this project that are thinking about putting their funding behind it?
Well, I think this is a really exciting opportunity. It has the backing of the Northern Ireland Executive, it has the backing of Belfast City Council, the local community is fully engaged, the local business community is engaged. So there are multiple benefits to this project and it'd be great to see us drive it forward together as partners.
And one last question, how will this facility deliver sustainable transport solutions for Northern Ireland?
Well, we're committed to a green recovery from COVID, and we're also in the middle of a climate emergency that it's imperative that we act to address, as well as incorporating designs around active travel. This is about sustainable modes of transport, so it's about providing people with more opportunity to engage in public transport. I think that's a really exciting opportunity.
Great to hear from the Minister there. Now, she laid out how important the Belfast Transport Hub is to the Northern Ireland Executive. It's also key to the UK as a whole. Westminster's Minister for Exports, Stuart Graham MP, explains more.
Good afternoon. Although Lord Grimstone unfortunately is unable to join us today, I am delighted at the opportunity to speak to you on the importance of foreign direct investment in this government's ambitious plans to level up the whole of the United Kingdom. The UK attracts more foreign investment than any other European country and globally is second only to the USA in its aggregate stock. So we have a world-leading offer, but we want the benefits of foreign investment to be shared more equally across the country. So promoting further investment and regeneration opportunities within Northern Ireland is exactly the sort of thing that we want to do working with Invest NI. So we're particularly excited about the prospects for Weavers Cross. Now, Northern Ireland has been performing strongly in inward investment terms, but too few people, especially internationally, know what a great place it is to do business. Among other unique attributes, Northern Ireland will be the only part of the UK to have a land border with the European Union. So forward-thinking businesses and investors will be able to take advantage of this unique status. Now, recently, Belfast was selected by 10 Downing Street to present at the Department for International Trade's Investing into Cities Forum, showcasing a range of investable opportunities to international investors with a particular interest in real estate and regeneration projects. And despite the challenges posed by the pandemic, Northern Ireland remains remarkably resilient, as demonstrated by the fact that it holds a world #1 position in terms of international investment locations for US cyber security firms. Northern Ireland also has a strong track record in attracting financial services technology businesses and investment. It's a real tech hub. Northern Ireland is a place with a great future. Last year, its tourism sector turned over £1 billion for the first time. So as we look forward to build back better, brilliant talent, businesses and projects will certainly help Northern Ireland continue to break records. We believe from our experience of working with transport-led regeneration projects that Weavers Cross is truly a transformational project for Northern Ireland. It has all the characteristics of a regeneration scheme which will have a positive local and national impact for many decades to come. With our local partners in Northern Ireland, my department is delighted to promote Weavers Cross to our international investment community. We're all excited that work is underway to construct the £200 million multimodal transport hub, which we believe will act as a regeneration catalyst. So as Minister Mellon stated, Weavers Cross enjoys wide support. The hub will accommodate more than 20 million passenger journeys a year, and with direct transport connections over our only land border with Europe, offers a unique opportunity for investors with the vision to grasp it.
Great to have the support of Westminster there. Now, having heard about the importance of the Belfast Transport Hub, it's time to hear more about the plans for Weavers Cross itself. For that, we're going to speak to one of the architects behind the project. all the way from the other side of the world in Australia, please welcome Fanos Panagidis from John McCaslin and Partners.
Good afternoon. My name is Fanos Panagidis. I'm a director at John McCaslin and Partners, and we are the architects for the Belfast Transport Hub and the Weavers Cross Master Plan. And I was just going to briefly take you through some of the initial thinking, ideas and proposals for the hub itself and the surrounding public areas. The presentation is organised in 3 sections. I'm going to touch a little bit on the initial sort of project vision or ambitions. I'll then talk a little bit about the site, the proposals, and finish on some of the indicative master plan work that we've done that has just tested the capacity and opportunities of the site. In terms of the project vision, initially, of course, at its heart is a new transportation, mixed mode transportation hub, housing both new bus and rail facilities, replacing the Europa bus station just off Great Victoria Street. But as a larger project, it's really it's a transport-led regeneration project that will be transformational for Belfast and the whole of Northern Ireland. It's a generational project. It's of a scale that in many ways is unprecedented and will bring significant benefits to both the local and wider area. So there's a number of things we've been considering beyond the station building itself, in particular how it connects into the surrounding communities and neighbourhoods, how we release areas for public amenity, how we effectively unlock what is quite a difficult site for future development and opportunities and public use, effectively much to try to stitch this part of the part of Belfast back into the centre of the city. And these drawings just look at some of the precedent projects we've been looking at, some of the examples of the quality we want to achieve, and a number of the project drivers that we have considered. Just some useful statistics to begin with. There's obviously a significant need to upgrade the bus and rail facilities at Great Victoria Street. Anyone who uses them frequently will know of the challenges with congestion, and that is as a result in many ways of the success of public transport in Belfast and Northern Ireland. In recent years has been over 45% growth in bus usage over the last 10 years and significant rail increase use as well. Currently, the 2 facilities accommodate around 10 million passengers per year, and we project that by 2040, actually that will rise to about 18 million, which you can see here. The site itself is just over 8 acres. It's a site that will be developed over a period of time. We think it can generate close to 1.3 million square feet or so of developable area, together with significant public realm space, squares, amenities, and of course a significant new transport facility for Belfast. In terms of the proposals, you'll be familiar with the site. I think Chris talked about this a little earlier, and of course its proximity to the city centre and City Hall. One of the challenges of the project, as well as how incorporating the station into the site with the increased facilities, we're going to 8 rail lines and 26 bus stands, which is significantly more than what's currently provided. It's also to try to create greater connectivity and permeability of the public transport functions back into the city centre, and of course into the surrounding communities of Sandy Row, the Lower Falls, and as well as the City Hall, obviously the hospital to the west. So a lot of these kind of connections have been important considerations. The site itself has a number of challenges which we have been working through. You can see this diagram here identifies a number of issues around contamination and culverts and utilities and rail works. The initial works, enabling works, will actually deal with a number of these issues. So effectively we are creating sort of, as well as the new hub, a number of clean, almost kind of service sites actually for future development. So the enabling works that are actually underway will address many of these issues and effectively unlock the potential for the site for future works. One of the things we've been looking at quite closely is how we connect the site back into the city itself, and the importance of, quite a specific city block grid that you find in Belfast. And we've looked quite closely at the dimensions and size of that and the scale of the streets, so that we try to extend that kind of urban grid from the city centre west towards the station. And these are sort of initial diagrams that we did here about how we effectively extend those city blocks so they connect right into the heart of the station, and then break them down to create a sense of scale and new spaces, which you can see there. So it will be a kind of familiar and almost kind of stitched back into the city, stitching back into the urban fabric. This drawing is an aerial view that shows the site before development. You can see the existing Europa Hotel here, the BT Exchange on Grosvenor Road and Durham Street. This is the bus and rail station as you can see it. And just for context, if we move to what's proposed, what we're able to do by bringing the rail lines straight in a slightly different configuration, we're able to deal with rail services on one side and bus services on another. We're able then to create a significant new public space. It's kind of a gateway to and from the station, or a gateway to and from Belfast, effectively here, and release some of these prime sites that are closest to the city centre for future development. So there's a number of development sites identified here in green, together with a potential tall building there. There's, of course, the housing executive site across the way, which is also a future opportunity, and as well as additional developable area to the northwest of the station. I'd state at this point that the surrounding sites and the massing that's illustrated here is indicative. We sort of develop it just to try and get a sense for the capacity and massing of the site. Nothing is kind of really fixed at this point, but we've done a piece of work just to try and understand how it might be like and how we might create permeability and connections into and from the new hub. This is a planned drawing of the new hub building itself in a slightly different orientation. You can see this is Grosvenor Road just here for context. This is the new public space, which is effectively the front entrance to the station. The station addresses both this public space and Grosvenor Road. The rail lines come in, so you end up with this part of the station as rail. We have a spine of accommodation here that houses both public and private functions, retail and all the back of house functionality you need. A new concourse and bus operations to the side, and it's multi-level. So you have an upper level mezzanine with a series of sort of cafes and retail and F&B opportunities at a high level overlooking these new spaces. And just diagrammatically there, you can see how the station is organised. It's effectively in two halves, so that we're dealing with bus and rail operations and how they are integrated in a shared facility. You'll see in a moment the roof form of the building that is inspired by a lot of the linen making and looms and folded linen of the area. That's important historically, part of the important industrial heritage of the site. It's of course been a linen quarter, and some of the materiality and colonnaded proportions of the historic station, which we have introduced into the new design. It's an aerial view of the new station. You can see the new public square in the forecourt there, with a protected colonnade which shelters people and facilitates routes all the way from effectively the city centre, Great Victoria Street, down through, across and up to Grosvenor Road. It also helps to activate the edges of the space, and how that then relates to this new sawtooth roof, which is reminiscent of the folded linen. Moving further on, we have developed some studies that look at what the, indicatively what the streetscapes of these new developable sites might look like. On the left, there is a view looking towards the new station square and colonnade, almost as if you've come through from the Great Northern Mall connection, and looking at how we create sort of active frontages to the streets, the sorts of materials and quality we imagine might be appropriate to give a real kind of contextual response to the new development, and high degrees of permeability, activity, good visual connections, This route is actually on alignment with the crossing at the end that then takes you straight into sort of a protected colonnade structure and around. So it's been quite carefully considered, the sort of permeability and connectivity of the streets. You can see some views along Durham Street there, noting the opportunity for a potential taller building that acts as almost like a beacon or a marker for this new station square and new precinct, which we think is important and has quite a good degree of support. We actually think it's one of the few places in the city where a building with some height really makes a lot of sense, actually. Again, looking at some of the street scale views, on the left here, you can see views approaching the station from Glengall Street, which will be one of the primary routes from Great Victoria Street down and through into the new station square, and the nature and sort of grain of some of the new potential development opportunities that we've proposed. And this is a view looking at the other sites, the northwest of the hub, where actually provides a sort of different sort of opportunity, perhaps where there's sort of bigger or deeper floor plates for different sorts of uses that might be appropriate. Looking in a little bit more detail here at the station square itself, so it's a significant new public space. It's about 5,000 square meters in total. It's part green, part solid. We've tried to create a good balance between the two. The solid or hard landscape nature of it actually allows for a lot of flexibility for lots of different uses and gatherings. And we see this as a kind of a significant new space for the city, a proper Belfast square with active edges, a protected colonnade that shelters users, retail kiosks along one edge that reinforce the route to the station, but also provide activity. We have these sort of terrace seating and water features that deal with the level changes. Of course, all the kind of infrastructure and culverts and things below ground have been taken care of. And you can see along the left some of the ideas and precedents we have for the kind of quality of space and features that we've been created through, like, natural seating areas that are facilitated through the natural terracing of the site, the retail pods, some of the inlaid interpretation, be it timeline or artwork, that really brings the space to life, some green space and planting that allows that sort of like softness to it, which you can begin to see in these illustrations here. Coming on to the overall master plan, and there's some images on the top there of King's Cross. We're also doing a similar project for a new metro station in Sydney at Central Station that is also looking at reconnecting the station back into the city, providing greater permeability and opportunities for overstation development. At Dalston in East London, this is slightly different. It is an overstation development, but an important component of it was trying to give back public space, public amenity really for users. And I think, again, this is an example of a project that has really transformed quite a challenging neighbourhood in East London, actually, with great success. And similarly, again in Sydney, another project we are involved in, where a new metro station is a catalyst for a completely new precinct with a new public space, new retail, residential, and commercial uses, and that is actually a catalyst for connecting to and regenerating the famous Waterloo estate just adjacent. And so there are a lot of parallels in these projects, and in all of them, I guess what we've tried to do is set up a framework that allows sort of development to happen in a natural way, and it's always been with a developer partner. So we tried not to necessarily be too prescriptive. What we're showing here is quite indicative. We've effectively tested capacity of sites for some massing, some different sorts of floor plates that facilitate different sorts of uses to understand what might be involved, where there might be opportunities for greater height, where actually buildings might work a bit better in terms of their street scale with the existing street patterns. This drawing illustrates some of the initial massing that we were testing on the site, and you can see the new Belfast Hub building just here with the BT exchange in the foreground and the new station square. And what we think is that there's a number of different opportunities for different sorts of developments in the precinct. And here we are looking at sort of mid-scale blocks to the rear of the Europa and Great Northern Mall. And we've tested those for a number of different floor plates and uses, and we're confident it works in a number of different configurations. And really what we're trying to do is set a framework that allows for these things to be taken forward in future, depending on market requirements and what the right mix ought to be. And so this was really about just testing some heights and scales and massings and what a yield might possibly kind of amount to. There's obviously an opportunity for a much taller building on the station square itself, which would be visible from a number of parts of the city. So it acts as a beacon or important marker for the new development. And it's one of the key sites in the city, we think, where a taller building is appropriate and would really bring benefits. And beyond that, to the northwest of the station itself, again, a further site which allows for a different sort of floor plate configuration, potentially kind of bigger sorts of spaces depending on what the uses would be necessary. So that's a sort of indicative look at some massing and scales that we began to test and investigate just to understand what the nature of the site might be. And I think that's the last slide, which gives you a pretty brief summary of the work today, the station itself, and some of the surrounding areas. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fanos. Just a reminder at this point that if you have any questions, to drop an email to robert.diddy@cbre.com, which you can see behind me. Now, developers are partnering with TransLink will want to know more about the trends in commercial property in Belfast and Northern Ireland. So to do that, we are lucky enough to have the insight from a true expert in the form of Robert Diddy from CBRE.
Thank you and good afternoon. My name is Robert Diddy and I'm a Senior Director in the Belfast Capital Markets team of CBRE. Today I'm going to provide a brief market presentation focusing on the uses that we believe will be most appropriate for Weavers Cross. Turning first to the office market. Clearly 2020 has been a very challenging year worldwide for all office sectors, but ignoring 2020, Belfast since 2011 has seen a very strong demand for the office sector. Our rolling 5-year average has been in excess of 500,000 square feet of space. In terms of take up by sector, again ignoring 2020, we have tracked the years 2011 to 2019. I'm pleased to say that we can see a nice spread of occupations across the office sector to include banking and finance, technology, creative industries, and cybersecurity being sort of key in our sector to also complement our strong public sector office demand. But turning more to office market availability and the compelling reason as to why invest in Belfast offices. Again, we've been tracking supply of space since 2011, and it's quite clear from this chart that you can see that both supply of second-hand space, which is in dark green, and also supply of grade A space in light green has been diminishing ever since then. This then is putting upward pressure on rental growth across the office sector. Pleasingly, the market has reacted to this, and we now have 3 significant schemes on site in Belfast: City Quays, the Yurt, and Olympic House, all providing welcome supply into the market, which should allow for delivery of new grade A space later in 2021 and early part of 2022. And in terms of rental growth, we currently see office rents in Belfast sitting at between £22 and £23 a square foot, and are still forecasting growth in the sector running through for the next couple of years up to up to £25 a square foot in 2023. And again, looking at Belfast compared to other regional locations and Dublin, Belfast remains probably the most cost competitive location when you look at both people costs and office occupancy costs. This helps Belfast compete for some of those international and regional office requirements, and has probably been testament to the success of some of the companies that have come into Belfast as a result of relocations, particularly out of the City of London. Then dealing with the future of offices, and clearly there are differing views on this. Some commentators are saying that COVID has and will bring about the death of the office. CBRE's view is contrary to this. We don't believe that will be the case. And there's a number of factors clearly that are going to back that up. The first one is our own view that offices are needed to collaborate. You know, businesses only grow when there's collaboration between staff, and we think that is going to be required going forward. In a Belfast context, if you look at Belfast, we have far too many secondary offices sitting in the city centre, and we believe, again, once people make a return to the office post-COVID, they're going to realise that their offices are not fit for purpose, and that's going to place greater demand on new Grade A space. And in Belfast as well, Belfast has been very, very successful in terms of the cyber, creative industries and technology sectors, and also nearshoring. And we've been very successful in terms of nearshoring some of the London law firms that have outsourced out of the City of London and relocated into Belfast. So we see demand being very strong for offices going forward. And a final slide on offices. Again, this slide here in the dark green, we're looking at rents rising, and we've been tracking rental growth since about 2012. And coupled to that, the light green line is looking at Belfast yields, and again since 2012, yields have been falling and sharpening to around about 5.75% at the moment for Grade A space. This has really given a compelling reason as to why Belfast offices is an interesting sector and a growth sector to invest into in Belfast. The next sector we wanted to look at was residential and multifamily housing. Clearly, that is a sector that has been sought after by many investors in the market at the moment. We haven't seen a lot of residential activity in Belfast to date, but we are anticipating a lot of growth coming through in 2021 and beyond. What is interesting is that residential is now not seen as an alternative investment class. It's seen as a key investment class by institutional investors. CBRE are tracking sort of 5-year average returns across the sector and estimate that residential will provide 5.2% total returns for the next 5 years, which is higher than any other sector. If you look at the chart on the left-hand side, ignoring 2020, moving forward into 2021 to 2024, while we're expecting total returns to be positive in all sectors, the light orange colour is the residential sector, which we're actually anticipating to grow each year, year on year, from 2021 to 2024. And just turning to the next slide, really what we're seeing here is that total investment activity across all sectors. The residential sector last year accounted for 8% of total investment volumes. That's a significant amount. And what we are seeing is many investors all allocating funds into this sector. And again, we expect this to grow coming forward. And in terms of market capacity, again, it's a very nice trend of upward growth where we're anticipating between 10 and 12 billion to be invested within the residential sector across the UK by 2022. So what are the key trends in the residential sector? Well, CBRE are currently tracking over £32 billion of capital seeking access to the residential sectors generally. We're seeing a shift to secondary locations, and what we mean is a shift to investors looking outside of London and looking at key regional centres. CBRE have recently produced a report which outlines the 10 hotspot locations to invest into new residential, and it's pleasing to see Belfast is listed as one of those hotspot locations. Investors are looking for speed and scale, and clearly residential offers a sector where you can scale up very quickly in terms of lot size. And we're also seeing a lot more fluidity across all of the residential sectors to include build to rent, student accommodation and affordable housing. What this is then doing is just fueling additional demand. Belfast City Council also have a very positive story in terms of encouraging further residential growth in the city centre. And this, coupled with the institutional operator and developer interest, is a very positive factor for Belfast and for growth in residential in Belfast. So to conclude, clearly we see Weavers Cross as the only transport-led regeneration scheme in Belfast. It's a significant site and probably the largest site that's going to come forward for a number of years. At this stage, it's master planned predominantly for office and residential uses. However, we do need to be mindful that the site itself is located midway between our two university campuses, namely Ulster University and Queen's University. And in addition to that, it's located very close to both Belfast City Hospital and the Royal Victoria Hospital. So clearly there could be opportunities to look at education and medical-based uses for the site in the future. The site is significant in Belfast terms, and CBRE are very excited to be launching this to the development market. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert, for such great insight into the market. Now, finance is obviously a key factor in any development, and no less so than at Weavers Cross. To shed light on one possible source of funding, we're now going to hear from Will Church from CBRE, who runs the Northern Ireland Investment Fund. He'll explain more about its aims and how it could fit with this project.
My name's William Church. I work in the Capital Advisors team of CBRE, and amongst other things, we manage the Northern Ireland Investment Fund. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the fund. The fund is a £100 million vehicle that's been set up to support good strategic projects in Northern Ireland that struggle to access development finance to get them going. The types of projects we support are office, industrial, logistics, low carbon projects, but importantly for Weavers Cross, actually, we're very interested in supporting infrastructure for big strategic sites like this one. The projects we've worked on to date include Merchant Square, which was a big office in central Belfast. We've supported infrastructure and some office development at the mixed-use strategic site at Kingshall, and the McCausland car park, which was funded really to support the Belfast car parking strategy. So the types of loans we make they're repayable. They're typically for the development period, so to get a project up and running to the point where it would be fundable by the market, up to £20 million, and paid on drawdown, just like any development loan would be. If you'd like to talk a bit more about your proposals for Weavers Cross, or understand more about the fund and how it may work with your proposals, please contact me or my colleague Herbin Duffield, or Robert Ditty, Andrew Coggins in our Belfast office. Our details will be available at the end of the presentation.
Thanks for that, Will. Now it's time to get some granular detail on the commercial structure of Weavers Cross. And for that, I'm going to pose a few questions to Adam White, who is Senior Director at CBRE. Adam, thanks for joining us today. First of all, why are you so excited about this scheme?
Hi, David. Good afternoon, everybody. So around the UK and Europe, there are numerous examples of high quality, high value mixed-use developments which have been facilitated by investment in public transport infrastructure and in particular improved station facilities. King's Cross, as mentioned earlier, is a global exemplar, whilst in Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds and Sheffield, you see either real-time examples or future examples that have or will raise the bar in their local markets. Weavers Cross provides a critical mass of land adjacent to the new Belfast Transport Hub and is situated at the heart of vibrant Belfast city centre. In addition, a large proportion of site enabling works will be delivered by the Transport Hub project. In short, the property fundamentals are extremely strong.
Adam, obviously a really exciting project. I want to touch on your experience of other transport-led regeneration schemes. Have they been successful, and have they done better than any other schemes that you've been involved with?
I think they can be, and they do when they're done well. So in instances where you see high quality architecture, placemaking, site-wide branding and marketing combined, I think rail adjacent multi-use, multi-phase schemes undoubtedly outperform their local markets time and time again. Okay. Weavers Cross will be a step change for the Belfast market, accelerating rental growth and attracting a diverse and resilient occupier base for all these reasons.
And Adam, in terms of today, in terms of the Market Developer Day, what are you looking for?
Well, ultimately, we're going to enter into a suite of legal documentation, but first and foremost, this scheme will be delivered in partnership. We want to find the right private sector partner on the right basis to ensure the success of the scheme. I strongly encourage everybody, therefore, to respond to the questionnaire that we put out there on the Weavers Cross website so that we can take on board your feedback. That feedback can be positive, negative, indifferent and constructive, because we want to make sure that we're designing a market-facing attractive proposition before we push the button on the contract notice. On that note, I think it's important to stress that the market may rest assured that we are preparing a lean and meritocratic selection process in order to keep your bid costs down and your interest sharp.
You talk of the bid there. Who can bid for the Weavers Cross project?
In essence, it's open to everybody, the entire market. The private sector partner could be a single organisation or a group of organisations that bring together the necessary funding and expertise. In a consortium structure, we'll need candidates to pass the mandatory financial tests and require clarity as to how the parties intend to contract and guarantee their performance and obligations under the Master Developer Agreement. And those are the same tests for sole bidders as well.
You mentioned the Master Developer Agreement there. How do you envisage that being structured?
So TransLink are fundamentally looking for a long-term, sustainable, stable revenue stream to supplement and diversify their core income received from the fare box and their other core businesses. We envisage Weavers Cross will be developed on a plot-by-plot basis, with each plot subject to the satisfaction of preconditionality. At present, we're assuming that development will take place under plot development licence, with a long leasehold interest being granted at practical completion. For income-producing assets, principally offices, built-to-rent residential and hotels, TransLink will receive a rents received ground rent in lieu of land receipts. We envisage ground rents in the region of maybe 8 to 12% rents received, but we're still considering the mechanism for setting those ground rents, and we'd very much welcome your feedback. A couple of options spring to mind. You may fix at the outset, so in effect every plot is drawn down at a fixed percentage rate, maybe variable by use, or you could allow that ground rent percentage to float and become variable, ultimately recalibrated, recalculated at the point a plot is ready to be developed. This is an area we'd particularly like the market's feedback on. For residential open market sales, we'll assume a land premium model. And again, that could be at a fixed rate from the outset or a variable model, depending on what the market prefers.
In terms of the type of partner that TransLink is looking for, can you shed a bit of light on that?
A true partner in every sense of the word. TransLink requires clear and transparent delivery structures based around a core team of suitably qualified and focused individuals with relevant experience of operating contractual joint ventures, similar in complexity, scale, and vision to Weavers Cross. During the procurement, bidders will be required to complete a business plan template. The template will include headings relating to resourcing, master plan approach, social impact strategy, target program, target financial plan, and funding strategy. The winning final tender submission will be adopted as the first business plan of the partnership. Once under contract, the business plan and the master plan, as Thanos talked us through earlier, will be reviewed at least annually to ensure it remains relevant and reflective of market conditions. This isn't a static business plan and a static master plan. We will ebb and flow with the market and at the guidance of the private sector partner. Ultimately, it's anticipated the private sector partner will procure the delivery of infrastructure works, secure occupiers, and undertake or oversee the delivery of direct developments.
Thanks for that, Adam. Is there anything else that you would like to say now that on the Developer Market Day?
Well, for me, David, it comes back to those fundamentals I touched on right at the start. Weavers Cross benefits from significant scale, infrastructure investment, and connectivity to the UK, Europe, and beyond. It sits at the heart of an established market, a rich talent pool, and a growing knowledge economy. The opportunity exists to take these ingredients and create something quite special. And I expect to look back in 10 years or so and be very proud of what's been achieved.
Super. Adam, thanks so much for your time today and your contribution.
Thank you, David. Just one more thing. Please, everybody, do remember to fill out that questionnaire. It's vitally important we get your feedback now. Thanks.
Yes, don't forget the questionnaire. Thank you for that, Adam. Finally, we're going to hear from TransLink again, this time in the form of Tricia Massey from its procurement team. Now, Tricia will give us more detail on the procurement process.
Hi, I'm Tricia Massey, Head of Procurement at TransLink. Our procurement department is an award-winning centre of procurement expertise, or a COPE, one of 7 in Northern Ireland. As a COPE, we deliver professional services which support the TransLink Group in its aims and objectives. We do this through strategic procurement and operational best practice, as well as delivering cost effectiveness, value and efficiency. We have facilitated the successful delivery of a wide range of high-profile multi-million-pound projects, including the North West Transport Hub and the Belfast Rapid Transit Service Glider, and we are very excited to be working on the Weavers Cross project. Whatever projects we embark upon, engaging with the relevant market is an absolutely crucial first step. It allows us to tap into the knowledge and experience of those who are at the forefront of their discipline and use that market intelligence to inform our requirements. It also provides a medium for us to ensure that those organisations are aware that we are very interested in what they have to offer, and to provide them with the assurance that their input and feedback will allow us to shape our requirements accordingly. The Weavers Cross project is a fabulous opportunity for you to develop a long-standing partnership with Northern Ireland's public transport provider. We see today as a fantastic chance for us to utilise your knowledge and experience and your very vital feedback to ensure that we maximise this procurement opportunity to establish a master developer partnership which will realise the Weavers Cross vision. Also, just to remind you, we have a questionnaire for you to complete with a closing date of the 10th of December. We would encourage you to use this questionnaire to provide us with your comments and feedback. As TransLink is a contracting entity or utility operating in the transport sector, all our procurements are governed by the Utilities Contracts Regulations 2016. To appoint a master developer, we will use a competitive dialogue procedure, which will be led by a multidisciplinary procurement team comprised of specialist consultants, development advisors and TransLink staff. One of the key benefits of this procedure is that, in addition to developing and submitting written proposals, you will be given the opportunity to meet key members of the TransLink project team and, importantly, obtain feedback on your ideas as they start to develop and evolve. You can then use this critical feedback to optimise proposals throughout the course of the procedure. The process will be fair and transparent throughout, treating all bidders equally and recognising the importance of using the time available in the most effective way. This means that the dialogue will be conducted in a very focused manner, with only the key issues that would benefit from direct engagement between TransLink and bidders being the subject matter. We are currently aiming to launch the procurement in Q1 of next year. Following a pre-qualification process, we will identify a short list of bidders who will be invited to submit proposals for the scheme for review and comment by the procurement team. The development of these proposals will be supported by a series of dialogue sessions, during which the number of bidders will be reduced so as to run as efficient a procurement as possible. As we approach the end of the dialogue, an invitation to submit detailed tenders will be issued to remaining bidders. And once final tenders are received, they will be evaluated and a preferred bidder identified. This will be the bid that offers the best mix of both value for money and a strong development proposal. The development of documentation for the procurement is well underway, and we look forward to your feedback to enable us to foster a market-facing approach to the identification and procurement of our development partner.
Thanks, Tricia. Now we have time to take some questions from you, the audience, and we certainly have some interesting ones. To answer those questions, we have Chris Conway here, we have Adam, and we have Colin Benny from John McCaslin's. So the first question I have, and this goes to you, Adam, is why have you gone for a master developer approach rather than just letting individual sites?
Thanks, David. I think when you look for case study examples, exemplar schemes, and how they've been effectively managed and delivered, de-risked, and outperformed the markets in which they sit, time after time after time, the preferred structure is a master developer solution. And I think that's because the magic stardust, the elixir, sits in between individual plots. It's placemaking, it's branding, it's marketing, it's social impact, it's sustainability. These elements, these ingredients, are only ever truly realised and fully leveraged when considered at the scheme-wide scale.
Okay, thank you for that, Adam. Another question that we have, Chris, I think this one is one that you can take, is what is the status in speeding up the Belfast to Dublin train link?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, there is an ambition through the North-South Ministerial Council to look at high-speed rail across the island. specifically looking at the Belfast to Dublin connection and beyond that as well. And that's obviously a long-term infrastructure project. In the shorter to medium term, both TransLink and Irish Rail are looking at a project where we would replace the existing fleet, and we would do that in the next 5+ years. And that would allow us to, one, increase the frequency on that route, and also with new fleet, we'd be able to reduce the journey time by around 30 minutes. So there is a plan that will deliver, certainly in when I say 5+, I mean 5, 6, 7 years, that sort of time frame. And then obviously the longer term project around high-speed rail would come after that. And both those projects will be complementary, and we're very, there's great support for them, and political support for them, and we believe that both projects can be delivered and can certainly give that really important connection between Belfast and Dublin and beyond, to Cork and to Derry, London, Derry as well, to give that real important connection right across the island.
Connection's really key indeed, Chris.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is an important question. When will the transport hub be open?
Well, we're going to, enabling works are on site at the minute. We're going through the final stages of procurement for the main works, and that will start at the end of next year. The transition from the old railway to the new railway, if you like, will happen in 2024, because that's a key transition that we have to plan well in advance. That'll happen in 2024, and the station will be partly open but still under construction, and then the construction will be complete by 2025.
Adam, another question for you, if I could. There's mention that this is an office-led mixed-use scheme, and I know there's been some reference to the ongoing office requirements. How confident are you about this?
Is it crystal ball time, David, around the office market? I mean, I think Robert said it earlier. The people have been calling time on the office market for a couple of decades or more now, and innovative, forward-looking developers have always found a way to attract the very best footloose and domestic office occupiers and requirements. For me, we're fortunate in the case of Weavers Cross. We've got a fairly generous lead-in to our first phases, as Chris has just described. We're probably only going to be putting a spade in the ground for our first offices from 2024 onwards, by which point, hopefully COVID-19 and its impact on the world will be a relatively distant memory. Time will tell. I think the key thing for me, and this is more of a personal prediction than the official CBRE line, is that I sense you're going to end up with a two-tier office market, where you have the very best schemes that have been able to respond, react, adapt to the needs of the occupier market, and investors will pile into those schemes, and those that haven't. At Weavers Cross, we've got the benefit of having a blank slate. We can respond in real time to the ebbing and flowing needs of our target audience. So in that sense, I'm pretty relaxed, I'm confident, and I think ultimately we'll see still an office-led scheme at Weavers Cross. But importantly and finally, I said earlier that this isn't a static master plan. It is not a fixed business plan. TransLink recognises that the property market and the economy naturally moves around all over the place, particularly in decadal cycles. We recognise that the JV partner will need to cut its cloth according to the market conditions at the point in time plots are ready to be developed.
Flexibility is so important nowadays, particularly in the current market.
Correct.
Chris, one more question I think we've got time for. There's mention of ongoing community and stakeholder engagement. Can you provide some detail on this, and do you see the development partner being part of the process when appointed?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, TransLink is a public corporation. We see a big part of our role is to work with the community and as part of the community. And I mean, a lot of the services we deliver are for communities across Northern Ireland. So we've been working very hard with the local communities that surround the transport hub, specifically on initiatives around just making people more aware of what the scheme's about, how they can benefit from it, and working with schools, community groups. And we've also done this innovative scheme with Belfast City Council in terms of the Construction Academy, because we obviously want to help to create construction jobs, long-term construction jobs in the area as well, and that's very important to us. So, and we will be running a station from that area for decades to come. So we really want it to be part of the community. So all of that's critically important to this project. And therefore, it will be vitally important that the partner we select will join us in that partnership approach with the community and continue to work. You know, we've got a social impact plan developed now as well, and we want the developer to work with us on that and become a partner in that whole community engagement.
A partnership approach really is key to that.
It's absolutely key, absolutely key.
Super. Time's marching on, so we maybe haven't got around to answering all your questions, but the team from Weavers Cross will be doing that in the next few days. So fear not, any of your unanswered questions we'll get to at some stage. To summarise some of the key takeaways from today, Weavers Cross presents one of the most exciting development opportunities in Northern Ireland. It sits alongside the fully funded and on-site £200 million Belfast Transport Hub. It will deliver 1.3 million square feet of mixed-use development. There will be significant infrastructure and public realm upgrades as part of the scheme. It's based in a city with a diverse office occupier base and growing knowledge economy. And it enjoys strong political support, as we've seen today from the ministers. In essence, the Belfast Transport Hub and Weavers Cross will be transformative for Belfast and for Northern Ireland. I'd like to thank all our panellists today for their brilliant contributions from all around the world, and thank you to everybody out there for listening. Before I'd go, I'd just like to encourage you fully to fill in the questionnaire to help TransLink bring this brilliant project to life. And if these can be returned by the 10th of December, that would be greatly appreciated. You can access all resources for today, including a full recording of the event, by visiting weaverscross.co.uk/developer day. That's all from us, and I'd just like to say thank you and goodbye.